Benvenuto. Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Wade. I know you're expecting Mark, and I'm usually behind the cameras, but I'm in front of the cameras today because Mark is going to make one of my favorite desserts, carrot cake. This is a cake that my mom used to bake for me on my birthdays when I was a child. And as an adult, going to different restaurants, trying their carrot cake on their menu, it just wasn't quite the same. So my mom gave us the recipe about a year ago. Mark made it, and it was just as I remembered. So Mark's going to make this recipe for you today, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, I'm going to take over from here because this is Wade's birthday cake, and it seems rather mean to make him make his own cake. As Wade told you, his mom's carrot cake is one of his favorite things. For many years, I didn't make it for a couple different reasons. Carrot cake isn't my favorite cake, at least until I made this one. I don't like raisins, and most carrot cake recipes have raisins in them, and it's really heavy spiced and so on and so forth. Plus, you had to grate the carrots, but a few years ago, Wade bought me a food processor, so that kind of took that excuse away. So finally, a few years, 2-3 years ago, I got the recipe from Susie, and I've made it for Wade a couple times a year, not just on his birthday, ever since. We had a dear friend, Pat. She passed away last June 2020, and we miss her terribly. Hey, Pat, hope you're having a good time in heaven. And she would make him a carrot cake every once in a while, but like Wade told you, it was not quite his mother's. So anyway, we're going to make Susie's carrot cake, and this is what we're going to need. So like any baking, you want to be precise. The full recipe is on the website, or we'll follow this video. Anyway, we need some table salt. We need baking soda. We need some cinnamon. That's all the spices that is in this recipe, and I think that's one of the reasons I like it so much. The cinnamon flavor really comes through. We need some unsweetened applesauce. Of course, we need some eggs, all-purpose flour, of course, sugar, and one of the most important ingredients is our carrots, and we're also going to need some vegetable oil. I'm also going to give you the recipe for Susie's cream cheese frosting. For this, I'm going to double this recipe today when we make it. The recipe that's going to be on the website is just for a single batch. I always double it because you can never have enough frosting. But anyway, you're going to need some room temperature cream cheese. And this is, we need, for a double recipe, we're going to use a stick of margarine. You say margarine. Got to remember, this is a recipe that goes back to the late 60s, early 70s, which it was very common that, Americans used a lot more margarine than butter. Then, of course, you're going to need some confectionery sugar and some good vanilla extract. I've tried this with butter, and it does not come up the same. So when I make it, I'm going to make it exactly how Susie made it. All right, let's get baking. You're going to need you need 3 cups of carrots for this recipe. Now, there's a couple options of getting 3 cups of finely shredded carrots. You could do it the good old-fashioned way and use a box shredder. All right, which is, I'm sure, the way that Wade's mom, Susie, did it. Or if you have a food processor, you can use your food processor, which of course is the fastest and easiest way to do it. So, could that be more fun? So easy. If you don't have one, get yourself one as soon as you can. Of course, the other way you can do it, now you can go to the supermarket and you can almost undoubtedly find shredded carrots over at the fresh carrot section. If you do buy them already shredded, make sure you get the one that is the fine shred. Okay, now we're going to move on to, we've done this many times, but we'll move on to preparing your baking pan. Of course, that's always one of the first things you want to do when you start to bake. And of course, the other is to set your oven or preheat your oven. In this case, I preheated the oven to 350. So you want to spread your butter, and I'm actually using margarine today since we're using the margarine in the cream cheese frosting, and I had margarine. So anyway, so you want to make sure you get it over in the little corners as good as you can. All right, and then you need a little bit of flour. Give it a shake about. And you want to make sure you coat up the sides. This is a 9x2 cake pan, so it's 9 inches across, 2 inches wide. And then you want to take and bang all the excess flour out. It shouldn't be all gummy or anything. It should look like that, just a nice dusting. We'll set that aside, and I'm going to get my mixer and move the food processor out of the way, so I'll be back in 1 second. In my mixing bowl, I've got my sugar, my oil, my 4 eggs, and I'm going to put in our unsweetened applesauce. It's amazing the flavor you get in this cake with this applesauce. You don't really, it's kind of one of those things, you really don't taste it. It just gives it that extra layer of flavoring. All right, so we want to put this in our mixer, and we want to combine this all. Of course, you want to start out slow so it doesn't splash all over the place. But you want to get that, it's very liquid, too liquid to call it cream it together, but you want to get that all mixed well together. I'd probably say it's going to take a good 2 minutes. Turn it up a little bit. And while we're waiting for that to get all combined, so in this bowl we've got our flour, our cinnamon, and our salt, and our baking soda. And just kind of get that all stirred in, all kind of mixed together. Yeah, that's probably been a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Turn it up a little bit more. And I think that's good. So then what we're going to do is we're going to start to slowly add in our flour or our dry ingredients. And I would probably say, in between spoonfuls, 30 seconds or so, a minute maybe. You want to get that flour nicely absorbed into the wet ingredients. This ends up looking like a very liquidy batter. I'll give the bowl a scrape down after our next addition of flour. It already smells delicious. All right. Add in a few more spoonfuls. Scrape the bowl down a bit, make sure. And I think we can go ahead and add the remaining flour. Oops. And let's give that a couple minutes. Give it one more scrape down. And up a little bit and let it go for a minute. All right, I think that's good. And then the last thing we're going to do is add our carrots. And again, I think I'll add them a little bit at a time. the rest of it in. And because we're just trying to get those mixed as much as possible. Let it do a few more spins. All right, that's good. I know I say this every time we use the mixer. Before I even go near that to take the beater off, I make sure I unplug it. I have this probably unnatural fear that my fingers are going to get chopped off in the beater. Get in there. All right. Of course, never bang your... This is a metal beater. You never, if you have a glass bowl, never bang it against the bowl, or you're going to have a broken bowl. All right. And this one, it'll spin around. You can see it's a really moist batter. It looks a little thin now, but it's going to all work out. All right. So then, I want to try to divide it up as evenly as possible. To me. That looks good. Give it a little bang on the counter just to make sure get any. I feel about the same to me. Okay, now I'm going to put them in our preheated 350 degree oven on the middle rack. And this is going to take anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes. We're going to come back and give it a test for doneness at 30 minutes. I think it's probably going to take 35, maybe closer to the 40, depending upon how well your oven keeps the temperature. And if you have any hot spots or whatever in your oven. Anyway. Let's get them in. So the middle rack and side by side. Okay, I'm just going to give that a few seconds to come back up to 350 before I set the timer. Okay, Google, set a timer for 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes, starting now.
And we'll be back in 30 minutes. All right, it's been 30 minutes. Let's give it a check. Actually looks pretty good. I'm going to... That looks good. Yeah. That's perfect. 30 minutes this time. All right, we're going to let these cool for 10 minutes, and then we're going to put them out on a rack. We'll come back in show you how nice they look, hopefully. And then while we're waiting for them to cool, we'll throw our cream cheese frosting together. And then when they're thoroughly cool, we'll frost them and eat the whole thing. See you in a little bit. Okay, I've let these cool on a rack for about 10 minutes. I turned one out. It came out really well. So here's hoping on this one. Ooh, yay. Perfect. Okay, so of course you want to let these cool thoroughly before we frost them. So I'm going to wait as long as I possibly can because I want to eat it right now. But I'm going to let it cool down. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that, we're going to get our frosting made. So let's come on over here. So in the mixing bowl, I've got the cream cheese and the butter. I'm sorry, and the margarine. And remember, like I told you, I doubled this. The recipe normally calls for just 8 ounces of cream cheese, half a stick of margarine. Anyway, so I doubled it. So I'm gonna, both of them are at room temperature. So just gonna give that a little bit of a mix. Get the butter and cream cheese a little combined. That's good. Then we need 1 tablespoon of vanilla. A tablespoon. I'm running out of my favorite vanilla. Here, a good heaping teaspoon. All right, and then that little combine. And for the double recipe, we're going to need a box of confectioner's sugar, so that's about 16 ounces. All right, and we'll just slowly start to combine them. A little bit more. And I think you'll find with the cream cheese frosting, it's probably a little bit stiffer than a regular buttercream frosting. And let me get give it a little scrape down. Yeah, I think we go ahead and add the rest. Stop that slow so we don't have a confectionery sugar cloud. Or that big of one anyway. And I'm going to give it one more scrape. and a good mix. We'll let it go for about maybe a minute or so. And look at how nice and smooth that is. And I think that looks good. And of course, the most important part. That's good. That's never happened before. Once again. And we got a little bit of sugar from the but that means I got that one. Okay, that's done. We are going to cover it. Worry about this so it doesn't stick to everything. And that will be ready for when we're ready to frost. All right, we'll be back for the frosting and the best part, eating. Well, I'm going to spare everybody from having to listen to me sing happy birthday, but happy birthday, honey.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Susie. All right, dig in. It's as good as last time I made it. That's a very nice carrot.
It is nice and moist.
Yep. Nice and moist, not too
Yeah.
strong with the spices. It's always amazing whenever you eat carrot cake how the carrots just kind of get all soft and melty.
It's very delicious.
Just glad you enjoyed it. Thank you everybody for watching this. I hope you try this recipe and I hope you like it as much as we do. Been a pleasure. Good night.
Bye. Don't forget, cherryhillhomecooking.com.
Don't forget.
Mm-hmm.